If it's something you got, well, we get that. So good morning, everybody. Um, Today's meeting, we want to talk about the TA or the contract and the working conditions that we all signed up for, and we got our little chump change. That's the word today, chump change. And I just really wanted to have this call to discuss our next action or where we go from here. So I'm gonna start off and talking about this. So we know we got a new TA. The ones that our officers passed out and we voted on was not the TA that we got. That's not the TA we voted on. We asked President Hill, several members of the Justice Coalition. I'm not sure if any other members asked Chief Hill for the whole TA with signatures to provide transparency to the members. That we knew that's what they negotiated. He said that was the whole TA. We did that in February. We voted in February. It's March now. And then CTA posts on his website, the tentative agreement, local 241, agreed to versus the one they passed out. Anybody have anything they want to say about that? Nobody? Oh, Tom, you want to say something?
Has anybody reported it to the international, first of all?
The international is very well aware of it. We've reported it more than once. We reported to them several times during the TA. We reported improper things going on with the TA. One being who gave them approval to extend the TA from 3 years, from 2 years to 3 years, or is it 3 years? It's 2 years to 3 years. And when we called him out on the John Acosta side with Keith Hill, he provided no proof because the TA was signed off sometime in January. We contacted Costa and he gave Keith Hill the approval in February, but per our Constitution, Section 34.1, Costa did not do his job correct because Keith Hill negotiated that TA for 3 years. He didn't give him permission to after TA was signed. So it was all illegally done. We know that it was illegally done. Then we even wrote to Costa and said, well, when did you get the General Executive Board approval? Because it's not just your approval. Per the Constitution, it says that in order for a president to extend the contract, it has to have the approval of the international president, and then the international president has to have the approval of the GEB. That didn't transpire. So from the beginning, the international knows that this was illegal, but they chose to support President Hill in his treasonous act. So one question I have with that, why do we pay the international and what is their role? Because if we pay them $120,000 per capita a month, that's over $1 million a year, and we pay them this money for what? Not to even stand up and protect our rights. And why should we have signs out in front of our house that proud union home when our union don't back us? I got some hands here. I'm gonna go with Rob.
No, I got one more question.
Oh, you got one more? Okay, go ahead, Tom.
Has anybody formally written a letter to him since the TA has been voted on and passed?
Well, we just wrote a letter to him. And in his last letter, and before this last one we wrote, he sent it back to the local union level, but we have since then written another letter to John Acosta asking him if he was aware of the TA that was presented to the members versus the one CTA put on their website that the members didn't have anything back. We have yet to get a response on that, but he's well aware of all these acts that this local is having, and he always directs us back to the local. He says he can't intervene, but if he can't intervene, why do we pay him $120,000, almost $130,000 to be correct, a month, almost $1 million a year if he can't intervene on such acts like this?
Well, the reason I'm asking that is because if you're going to get an outside agency involved, that's the first thing they're going to ask. Did you go to the international?
Well, we definitely went to them,
That's
Tom. We got
all,
all
that's
of our,
all I'm asking. Okay.
okay, we definitely went to them. I think we're trying to bring transparency to this union, but it's very hard. It's like, do anybody know why we pay the international? Is it because that's a lot of money that we paying them and they're not helping us out. They're not even assisting us. They're not
I
taking us
don't know what they're
serious.
doing for us, Nicole. I really don't. I don't see anything that they're doing for us.
Right. And every time we go by the Constitution or we go by the bylaws, no one steps in to correct the wrong. They side with the union. Are we paying them this $1 million for political gain that we really don't need, or are we paying them to protect us when our local is not doing correct? And you know it's a lot of corrupt in our local. We've been trustees before, and you know they stepped in. Then they only step in when, I believe, in my opinion, they only step in when it's a threat of them losing that money, that $1 million a year. So I don't know. Rob, you had something?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, what was the original, where did we get the 16 pages from?
Now,
I didn't find it on the CTA website, so.
well, he might have called and told him to take it down, but we do have a copy. I believe Eric uploaded it to the Eric, if you don't mind, did you upload it to the website, or if not, we need to upload it?
Yeah. If you go to chicagotransitworker.com and you click on this button and let's just do it one step at a time. chicagotransitworker.com, scroll down to know your rights, and it says contract 2019. Now this is still the 2020, but it's the collective bargaining agreement with all of the tentative agreements attached. So when you click on that, it takes you here. And this document 494, so sorry, the page isn't loading right, but you can view it online. Okay, and I'm loading it now. I was just having some connection problems.
So, okay, so are you okay with that, Rob? And if not, I can print you out a copy and get it to you. I plan on printing out a lot of copy and a lot of copies and passing around to other members because they're not aware of it. And I think like with the CTA, one department don't talk to another department. So that's how they made the mistake, because I have emails between me and President Hill asking for the full TA, and he says this was the full TA. And I said, well, where's the ones with the signatures? Because in order to negotiate a contract, to make it legit, we need signatures. He says that was it. But within all his ignorance, he said he would have the staff email me a copy. So the staff emailed me a copy, and it definitely wasn't this copy. But to me, the most important thing is, how do they give us 5 pages, which says nothing, and we voted on that, and then we found out it's 16 pages with lots of information that will affect us in our future, not just the years that we negotiated this contract, but for our futures. Where do we go from here? Are we going to sit back and say, oh, because we up for another contract in 2023, are we going to move on, or what are we going to do now? Are we going to still address this, or are we just going to sit back and wait? Tom?
Yeah, what they gave us was a summary of the proposals of the TA.
Well,
like you said, we did not get the actual copy, which is wrong.
Which is wrong, because we can't vote on the summary, can we? We could assume all day long. Y'all know what assume mean, right? I'm not gonna say it, but I think everybody knows what assume.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes, sir.
So if anyone wants just the 16 pages, it's at our Scrib site. So if you go to chicagotransitworker.com and scroll to the bottom and click on the S at the bottom of the page of any of the website pages, it'll take you to all of the documents. And that's where you can see just the 16 page. So Robert and anybody else who wants to see that, I'm also put the links in the chat.
Okay. Is that good, Rob? Or I can,
Okay,
anybody?
good. Sounds good, Eric. Thanks.
Right, I thought of a great idea to take up a collection and just print out a whole bunch of them and pass them out to everybody. Because a lot of people are not aware of this. You know, if you're not looking or paying attention, you'll believe whatever President Hill says, which in my opinion is a lie. Everything comes out his mouth, just personal opinion. But yeah, and you know, many a times I think that the union prays off for the members' ignorance to be involved. And I hate to even say that, but it's the truth. Because during when they was trying to push the TA, I kept saying, where's the signatures? We all agree that nothing is legal unless it's signed between two people. That's why they was able to give us 5 pages and then do something else. So you know, it's just heartbreaking to me that we sit back and allow them to do this. Kathy, I see your hand.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I think it's a great idea to print up some copies and, let's try and raise some money for that or donate and print up the copies and try to get them into people's hands. And I wonder if we should focus on some aspects of the contract and and stoke people's anger and disgust about that. And so we can get people active in fighting the company and exposing the sellouts. It's all kind of tied up together.
Yeah, Kathy, it is all tied up together. And you know, I find it challenging to talk to people about the contract because they have no idea. Like, oh, that's not true. They wouldn't do that, but it's in black and white. And CTA slapped us in the face and showed the union what they thought about them. Like, to me, when we found out that the TA was online, I'm like, okay, it couldn't be that much different, right? But when you go and you look at it, they said slap us in the face, and then they slapped the union in the face. Like, we'll let y'all know who running things. Is that what I took from it anyhow? I don't know about. How do you guys feel?
That's how it's always been.
Exactly.
That's how it's always. I've been here since '94, and ever since '94, we the membership have been getting sold out left and right on every contract. And CTA doesn't. They do a great job of getting the membership to approve the TA only because they're showing you first the money. And that's what everybody wants. But at the same time, after you approve the TA because of the money that's being given to you, that's when all hell breaks loose, because then you come to find out what's in the contract afterwards. To me, 241 has been sold out for the longest, ever since I've been here. And it will continue to get sold out. I honestly think right now, guys, and this is just my opinion, you talk about the TA, you talk about what was not given to us. I think it's important that we sit down, look at what was not given to us, highlight it, and hand that out with explanations as to asking the question, why was this not given to us? Why are we accepting a contract without getting it all together? Exactly what you guys have been saying. But what I'm going to say is this. You can't be on the attack, because that's what turns people off the most. When you are on the attack of the local, and when I say on the attack, I'm talking about belittling, name calling, and all that negative stuff. We have to be able to be more professional about it. You have over 6,000 people that didn't vote. That alone is a problem. You can't blame the acceptance of this contract based on those 2,700, whatever the number was that accepted it. It's not just their fault. You can't blame the people who are planning to retire. It's not their fault. I would say in general that a big part of the problem with this TA was them 6,000 people that didn't vote.
I agree.
That's the biggest problem there, because whether you vote yes or no, you have to have an opinion because it affects you. But I don't know. There's a big fight to go on here.
It is, and you know, we one of the things that we do is we try to organize and we try to teach. And I think that education is another problem, is knowing your rights. why you should vote. And the day of the ratification of the TA, I sat in my garage and I told them, I was talking to the members, and President Hill was there, some other officers there, and I was like, look, guys, no matter what, we all sitting around this terminal garage. Just vote, whether you want to or you don't, or if you yes, vote, if you no, vote. But the important thing is to vote, and the ignorance of not voting is a big problem. And then I thought to myself, I said, well, maybe when you think about the international, they just want their money. So I said, well, I even wrote to the international president, maybe I should start a campaign, since members are not into it. Maybe I should start a campaign to withdraw dues, because stop paying dues, because if there's no dues, they'll come in and they'll do something. At least we think they will, right? The national president didn't even blink. He was like whatever. He's like, whatever you want to do, because he didn't think I was serious. But I was explaining to the members, I was trying to educate them. Even if you stop paying dues, they still have to represent you. And that's a harsh thing. That's something that I really wouldn't want to do. But if needed to get some real progress within our union, I would. That was one of the things that I try to bring up at our meetings. Like, should we start a campaign? Because even if we stop paying dues, they still have to represent us.
Yeah, they're gonna represent you, but it's not like they're gonna give you 100%.
Well, they don't give you 100% now. That's my point. I can represent you.
True
I
that.
can represent you better than they can.
True that.
With the knowledge of knowing, myself. So I do we really need them? And what effect do you think it will have on them if we stop paying dues? Because we got over 6,000 members not voting, and they're not paying, and they paying dues.
And chances are they don't need the union themselves.
Exactly. So would that be a benefit? I don't know. There's no real solution.
It would clearly send a message.
That's what I thought. I thought it would clearly send a message, if not anything, and then they will come and care about, what's going on. I think the real problem with Local 241 is the membership, and CTA and local and Keith prey on that. They prey on our ignorance to not know the rules, or or try to engage. And I can't blame them. Once before I was that person, but then I said, well, if I'm gonna pay, I should participate. And then when I thought about my future, I'm like, everything that they do now affects my future for later. Kathy, you have a hand. Abel, I'll come right back to you. Kathy had her hand up.
Yeah, I was just gonna say about a couple of things, like say calling names, not calling names. Well, the most important thing is that we reach the members, that we motivate the members. It's hard not to call those assholes names, because they're constantly lying and treating the members like shit. So it's hard not to call them names. They don't deserve our respect. But at the same time, I agree. The main thing is we have to reach the members. And how are we going to do that? And I also think this, that people aren't motivated to come to those union meetings. And why is that? Why is that?
I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll tell you. Where are you at 10 o'clock in the morning? That is the most important meeting of all the meetings.
Oh.
We're on the street. We're operating that bus. So the majority of the people, on top of that, where the office is, yeah, they might say centrally located, but if I'm all the way up north, do I really want to go downtown? That's a problem.
Right.
Well, you know what we got to do to do that. And the only way we can do something about that is we have to attend that 10 o'clock meeting sometime and change the bylaw to a better day that we all can come up with, which I think a Saturday or Sunday. That's just my opinion. For me, myself, I just trade my day off because it's important to me to be at that 10 o'clock meeting. In the last few months, the importance of being there has paid off for me. Not only did I learn so much, I've addressed so many issues. And I know it's hard, but if we could just inspire people to come for a little while and change the bylaws to benefit the members as a whole, that would be effective. Kathy, did you have something else? Or Abel, I'm sorry, did you finish?
No. We were good. Okay. You were talking.
Okay, Kathy, you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, so I want to just go back to the bonus check and the retro pay we received. Are we aware that the one-time bonus check came from the CARES Act of 2020, and that is not, it's not something CTA gave us?
I did not know that.
Oh, well, yeah.
Either. Can you,
Eric, can we discuss that a little bit?
Sure, what do you need me to bring up?
No, we don't need you to bring up. I thought you knew about the CARES Act, where they set aside so much money to give to the I
Yes,
forget.
yes,
Give to the employees.
yes.
So I don't know. That's why it's important for us to research this as well, because the CARES Act allotted so much money for them, and I believe it became a problem. I think they in the 2020 CARES Act they gave us 800 million, and Keith Hill told the members they only gave us 500 million, and so that's when questions start to arise about why is he telling us they gave CTA 500 when they gave us 800. So
It was 800.
Yeah, it was 800. It was 800.
Yeah.
So what is being done with the money? Where did it go? Was it just because I'm gonna say between 241 and 308, was it just $45 million allocated for the members? Was it just $4,500? Or was it more? Did they take it and do something else? I know Mayor Lightfoot is in trouble because she took some CARES Act money and paid down some of the Chicago's debt. Was that something that Hill orchestrated with the mayor? Take some of that money, we won't pay our employees, because you know he does things like that.
Well, that's how the AC Trust was born, but go ahead.
Exactly. So was that it? That's why he's so, is that what's going on? Because I find that very hard to believe, because something I noticed, like, you know who the real winners are with this bonus pay and retro pay? The people who didn't work. You know why? Because in the CARES Act, it set money aside for them to stay at home if you had a underlying healthcare condition, and they stayed home and they got paid.
Yep.
So they stayed home for 3 or 4 months while we drove the bus and we, fought through the pandemic or whatever, but they were at home getting paid and we were working. And then it comes that we only got $4,500 for a hero's pay. They can't really call it that. And did the union say, oh, we're going to decline that and do this? So that's something we need to talk about. Kathy, you had your hand up? No.
No, I'm confused about that. No, my hand isn't up.
Oh, Tom, you had your hand up?
Yeah, if you remember, they were saying we were supposed to get $30 a day up to $150 a week for all that time. That's what our executive board at the Glen was telling us for a long time. So I want to know what happened to that.
Yeah, well, let me interject that. Last, I want to say April or May, when I was pulling in and I would talk to Jack, Jack said we were going to get somewhere a check of around 10,500 ballpark figure. And where did it go from 10,500 down to what we got?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
So the question, I'm sorry, the question is if this money was allocated for it to be dispersed for the employees, where can we find out if it was specifically written that there was an X amount of money to be handed to us?
That's a good question. Now we need to know what we can do to find out where the money was allocated to.
So if this helps, I put on screen for some of you that can see there, you should be able to see the CARES Act, the different CARES Acts and allocations. I don't know if that helps, but I have it on screen.
Yes, but we need to dissect this. We need to sit down and look at it and read it and see what we can come up with, because something's not right. It's a lot of things not right with this money. It's so many scenarios and nothing in writing. And if you notice that whenever Keith Hill passes out something, he never signs his name on it. This TA, the one that he gave us in the beginning, had no signatures. That was the first red flag for me. Anything, should have a signature. So that was the first. And then if you notice, they always say a one-time payment for 2020. That reflects back to the CARES Act that was given. That's why a one-time bonus for 2020. And then something else about that. when do you tax a bonus regularly? When do you take pension and ACC trust out of a bonus? And if I'm correct, the ACC trust is down to 1%. They took 3% out of those checks. So, and then you ask Keith Hill, why is that? And he says, I don't know why. Well, what do he know? Who really negotiated this? Tom.
I doubt that it was him.
Yeah, they told him what to do, Ed. Tom, you
Yeah.
have something?
Yeah, basically what they did to us is similar to what they did to the Atlanta MARTA drivers. They used that CARES Act money for the contract, which they're not supposed to
Right,
pay
and you
our,
know,
to pay our back wages.
well, what back wages? Because I didn't receive any back. You talking about the retro pay?
No, they're claiming a bonus for your hours worked up to 4,000 hours, or is
Yeah,
that how it was worded?
yeah, something like that. And I'm glad you brought that up because here's the real problem that raises another red flag about the 4,000 hours you work. When you got your check, there was no hours on there, so that raised a red flag. Like, you can't show us the hours that we work. What kind of transparency is that? And then when you bring it to the president, because he only talks to a certain base, they won't ask him the hard questions. Why is it our job to go back and look at our 2020 check stub and compare the hours, but you have nothing to compare it to? If you have nothing to compare it to, they just guess what they want to give you. So
Well,
that raises a red flag.
my thing is, he was on there telling everybody the bare minimum should be 6,500 if you did the bare minimum. Now, I don't do no overtime. I do 40 hours. So where's my 6,500?
Let me ask you guys.
Oh,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, it's fine.
So let me ask you guys, did any of you go in there to add up your hours for that last check of 2020?
To be honest, I did not.
All right, well, let me tell you something. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I feel like that is not my job, and maybe I should, but I feel like my point of bringing it up, it's not my job to do it. I'm a bus operator, and I drive the bus, and we make sure that the payroll is able to get paid every 2 weeks, or to everybody in CTA, correct? So I feel like Keith Hill should have said, go back to CTA and say, you needed to provide them with this, all the hours they work so they can have something to compare to. I'm not going to go back and look if I have nothing to compare to. That's just my personal opinion. Other people feel different. That's my personal opinion. Why should we have to do the job of payroll? They work from home during this pandemic. It should have came out with the hours, but the red flag comes in when you go to the CARES Act and the money that we thought was allocated for us, and it's not there, so they're trying to hide something for us, and they think that we're not noticing. That's just my opinion. What do you think, Ed?
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I did go in and check my hours. And the way I see it, yeah, I did some overtime that year, but our bare minimum, if we came to work every day that year, we should have made somewhere around 2080 hours. That's your bare minimum. I did work some overtime, and my calculations for my final check was about 2,487 hours. According to what I see on this check stub, if I'm calculating this right, it only shows that I got paid for 663 hours. And that's with the hours that they're showing on your pay stub.
Right.
So somewhere there's
a
a lack of explanation as to how they came up to the hours.
Right. And that's a red flag for me too. And when you no one really asked him these questions. He has no answer. He said, well, go. I heard him tell somebody, go ask your administrative manager. Don't call payroll. Why do we have to ask anybody? Why is it not transparent for us? That leads me to believe they did something illegal.
Well, maybe we should be asking ourselves, is there a way how we can bring in some kind of outside accounting firm just to look at all of this?
Well, we can't bring in an outside accounting firm to look into CTA because CTA got the money. But I think if there is a way we can get someone to look into it. And Eric, could you pause the recording for a second? It was so good. Okay, guys. So yeah, we've come to a lot of good things with this meeting. I think it was very effective. I mean, it was good to me. I mean, it was very good. I like the part I like about these meetings is that we can agree to disagree. We can not agree with one another, but we don't fall out. We didn't use the name calling, the swearing. For me personally, it is therapy to talk with mind like people that want real change within our local. Um, it's just inspiring. It's very inspiring having these meetings with you guys. And you guys have anything else?
Let's push
I
for
like what you
gathering.
said, Nicole, about
Well,
if you run for office, who's going to hold you accountable? And I think that's a good phrase to continue to say when people say, you know, you run, but because we need members. The members got to really understand that they must control the union. Because when it's time for election, you're gonna have people that's gonna run that never even opened up a constitution, never looked at the preamble, never
Yep.
even looked at the bylaw, but then
Yep.
they want to be the president of a
Yep.
union. It's
Yep.
crazy to me.
Yep. Yep. You're 100% right. You're 100% right. And if I might add, I don't mean to cut anyone off. If I might add, when you guys talk about they re-elected these people back into these positions, you got to keep in mind that sometimes the competition isn't there to run against that person,
Yep.
which leads to maybe no other choice. As an example, when Keith Hill ran the last time, who else ran against him?
Nope. People with no names.
Uberlite keeps running.
well,
And Uberlite is definitely not for
He's-
the membership
He's
at,
not.
at a whole.
Yeah,
he's not.
I don't trust. I don't trust him for anything.
I don't either because he only comes around when it's election time.
Yeah.
Tom, you have something?
Well, like Abel said, nobody ran against them. That's because they kept a lot of people off the ballot, saying
Yeah.
they owed the money, which if they owed money, how come they never brought these people up on charges?
They don't even know how. These officials are not educated. They keep acting like they're educated, and most people think that they are businessmen, which I cannot see beyond what. Oh God, I can't see what they see in these people. But also, that's why it's important. I try to put this message out. Everybody say, "Well, why don't you run for something?" Well, why don't you run for something? We don't need more people to run for officers. We need more engaged members to hold the officers accountable. Anybody can be the president, but if the members hold them accountable for the job that we elect them to do, that's the real power. So that's why I say I don't care who runs. Of course, I would like different people in there, but if we as members can engage and run our business like it should be, we will be okay. Andre, I'm gonna have you to hold for 1 minute because David had his hand up and I want to acknowledge him. Then I'll come back to you. Okay, go ahead,
That's fine.
David.
Get everybody else before me.
Hi, I'm from HU 192 in Oakland, California. I've been retired 8 years. I drove for 34. I think what the members are looking for is people to lead the fight against the boss.
Yeah.
And I think my experience is that people don't like the squabbling, internal squabbling within the union because it's taking away from the fight against the boss. I think like I think Kathy suggested and others and Nicole was people want to see leadership from the activists and so they can get involved. And I think that's what the focus should be, not on, I mean, what are the issues that the members want to fight around and have a plan to do that?
Mhm.
And that's where the leadership comes from in practice. And then people will, the next elections, people will say, well, look, Nicole took the lead on bathrooms or schedules or whatever like that. And then people can point to, she's not just talking, she's actually doing something. And I think that's, the proof is in the pudding. And rather, so that's just my suggestion. I think the other question around the reliance on arbitration is that these guys are lawyers and And they're not members like us, so they're biased. I mean, and I don't think we need to rely on the bosses to solve our problems. So that's my comment.
Well, thank you, Dave. That's good information. I believe the same.
Yeah.
Brother Andre?
Yeah, I just wanted to make a statement, a comment on Tom's comment about the money. The thing about what took place with them, and when it come down to finances of an officer owing money, there are provisions that take place that never took place when Keith accused and took these people off the ballot, including myself. And because the provision didn't take place, that means there was never nothing to fight over. The ATU gave Keith them their autonomy, which allowed them to do whatever they want to do. But the ATU never stepped in, because if I owed money or anybody else that was taken off the ballot owed money, the international comes in, investigates, give a hearing, and determine the facts. See, Keith and Toy, they can't be judge and jury. You can accuse people all day long. And so that's why this thing with the election and taking people off the ballot wasn't nothing but a witch hunt to make sure the competition couldn't run.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bottom line. Because when Keith and them owed money, they stay in that now, you know. But when it took place, when Keith and Jefferson owed money, the international came in, did an investigation, came up with the finders, and put the finders out in front of their face. The international can't even step in because it's nothing to owe. I was underpaid, not overpaid. And everybody else that was underpaid, and Hanley, who's now dead, approved it because Javier forgot to put it in the bylaws to pay the board members for the picks. Real simple. So this was nothing but killing competition, and that's what it's always been about. And that's why, just like Abel said, you know, the people that have no choice when it was election time, because the members never stepped up. The members never attended union meetings. The members never opened up constitutions and bylaws. So before election time comes, we need these members to get involved so they can run. Because if they don't have a clue, they're gonna have less choices.
Are you done, Andre?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Tom.
Well, what has to be done in order for you to be eligible again? Because if you decide that you want to run again, they're going to do the same thing this time. It's going to be the same thing. So what has to be done in order to make you eligible?
Well,
I think Nicole taking care of that for us.
Yeah, I've been working on it for a while, because I don't know who they're gonna bring up on what charges. If you haven't brought them on charges all this time, you haven't supported nothing. Again, it goes back to the membership. We're gonna make that decision. That's the key. Is not the officers, it's the members. We can override any officer, anything they want to do according to the bylaws and the Constitution. And this has been going on for a long time. They haven't brought them up on charges. Where's the end? The members set the end. So that's, again, another reason why we have to engage more members, so we can take our meetings back and take control of, the union. But we are
Can I say something, please?
Oh, just 1 second. Who said, can I say something?
Eric,
Eric.
moderator.
Okay, yeah, Eric, you got, let me see, I'm gonna give you a time limit. You got 1
give
minute,
him-
Eric.
Give him a time.
You're gonna have 1 minute too.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Call me out of order. That's what I was doing.
So I put on the screen a protest. It's going to be going on April 2nd at 2 p.m. at 67th and Lakeshore Drive. See, these are the things that the union leadership refuses to do. And these are the things that we have to do as workers. We have to make the leadership do it if we can. They probably won't. And if they do it, it'll be real fake. But at least we got to try. So every time we do these protests, I tell you, the leadership gets scared. Sometimes our employer freaks out. They send cops, managers with cameras, but everything's peaceful. And guess what? Nobody's been fired yet. Think about that. Nobody's been written up for doing these protests. None. The only people talking about writing people up are the union leadership, telling the managers. They
That's
take
right.
pictures of us and they send it to the managers and they say, hey, this guy's wearing a uniform, or this guy said the CTA sucks, or wrote strike on a sign. So what? You're off the clock. So what? They know they can't do anything. They can't try, but it's really not going to stick. So please, sisters and brothers, realize that the TA sucks and we got chump change, but we still got to fight for better working conditions. That's all.
Eric, you sure you can have more than a minute? I was just kidding. I want to be called out of order.
No need to talk because we have guests here anyway.
Okay.
So I'm
Eric,
just
make sure
moderator.
Eric, you forgot to tell people, put down your feelings on those signs. Bring your signs.
Yes, freedom of speech. And if you don't like the time that this protest is being done, well, let us know at the coalition and we'll help you promote a protest that you want to do at your time and location.
Absolutely. These protests are very helpful to our cause, to the TA that we didn't get and for a future TA that we want.
And this protest is from a co-worker of ours who's a bus operator at 103rd, Sister Tina, right? And this is her thing, you know, and we just backed her up.
Right. Right. Andre, you have something?
Yes, I just like to make a statement on your statement, Nicole, about when you said it ends with the membership, and that is true. But the thing about it, the membership just can't be willy-nilly when they decisions. They can't just get up in their feelings and start saying stuff and doing stuff because they governed by the Constitution. Because what happens is Keith got a nice little amount of following people who believe in him, who will do anything he says. And you seen that example when we was trying to do something at the past meeting, he called all his people in. So the membership that comes down that may be in defense of anything that's for right, or they may be misguided in Keith logic. And so they'll go along with it. So the Constitution protect members from just doing any old thing they want to do, because I got a lot of members who don't like me, and they say, "Oh, we're gonna go. Let's burn him in hell. Fuck him. Let's burn him in hell. He deserve it." And then that don't fly. So the members got to be politically correct too when they call themselves standing up against something that they feel we shouldn't do this or they shouldn't do that. They have to be. That's why you have to be educated in unionism. That's why you have to read your Constitution. That's why you have to read your bylaw. So when you do step in the union meeting, you kind of understand what it is your job is, because they got a job, the membership. And that's it.
Well, just to piggyback on what you said, and I'm not going to take a long time, that's why we are here to help the membership engage and teach. And with our teachings, what are we teaching? Constitution and bylaws. So with membership engaging, they will be knowledgeable of what they can and cannot do, what their rights are, how they're being violated. So my statement was to say that it ends with the membership is because no matter what any officer do, if correct and within the bylaws and the Constitution, the members have the real power. That is the only thing I was trying to address.
And they do. But you've seen examples of members coming down there that don't have nothing to do with no power. They want to follow Keith, like the young man from 77.
Right,
who's on the payroll.
But we don't want to talk about and discourage them coming.
No, we don't.
We want to know how effective that the members are that know they're doing in the membership meeting. And I believe that without an ineffective in the membership meeting, there's a lot of effective. I think that we being in the union meetings are very effective. We're very knowledgeable, and we kind of piggyback and help everyone out. So we're not going to discourage people for coming and supporting Keith, because one time or another they might understand our point and kind of join with what we saying. So my statement is like we're still going to encourage the members, and it ends with the members no matter what, whether we agree or disagree with their actions. We are the members. We are the union, and according to the bylaws and the Constitution is the way we're going to prevail. I didn't say that because they don't know what they're talking about, but we can't address them not coming to the meeting because they like Keith.
I know
you did, but you said when they come.
Or okay, well, discouraging. members.
But-
I'm
but-
just making a fact statement on members coming down that may be misled by leadership.
Well, that's why I say education, you know, not piggyback, but you know, we're getting ahead of ourselves. It's now 11:33. We've been on the call for an hour and 33 minutes, and we have another meeting tomorrow. I don't want to take up everybody's time, but I do appreciate if anybody else has anything else they want to say, not to cut you off, Andre, because you know, we can debate about this all day. You know, I just want to, with in respect, values everybody's time for today. And, you know, anybody else have anything else?
My final word would be is that we also have to keep in mind that to a lot of people, a lot of members, because they are paying dues, this is nothing but a paycheck for them. They come in and they do what they have to do and they go home. They're done. They're not interested in CTA business. They're not interested in 241 business. They're just here for their check. So a lot of them will not be involved.
Well, you know, that's one thing we're trying to teach them too. They need to get involved because,
Sure.
yeah, they're here for the check for now, but there's a goal to be here. The goal is to receive that pension check so you never have to work again. And if you did, it'd be at your own course. So we're trying to get members to know this is your future. You should be involved. This
It is.
matters for your retirement. If that's
Yeah.
what you consider do, we can't live for the now. So that's one of the things we try to encourage with the members. Like, look at your future because it is your future. These TAs, contracts, this, and I know I was that one person who didn't care anything about the union. But when I really learned how it affects my lifestyle and it can affect my future, it changed me.
And it has, because I see it.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're not the same person. I didn't even know your first name was Naomi.
It's not. That's just my
It's a made-up
Facebook name.
name.
It is Nicole.
Oh,
That is a made-up name. No, you know my first name is Nicole.
that's what I know you as.
Yeah, that's who I
She
am.
want to be on the runway, man. That's her dream.
But, you know, everybody has dreams. So
That's
but-
funny.
right. I've really changed a lot, and I think for the betterment. And I'm not fighting just for myself. I'm fighting for everybody in this union. And it's like you, many people on this call, we don't have a lot of time here. I got 3 more years, and I'm
Yeah.
leaving.
Yeah.
I'm taking my pension and I'm running.
Yeah.
You know, but before I leave, I'm trying to leave a mark that will leave this union and the members in a good place.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So anybody else have anything else?
Amen, sister.
Eric, you have anything?
No, just thanks everybody for coming in and the guests from the West Coast. And please, everyone come to this protest at 67th and Lake, Saturday, April 2nd, 2 p.m.
Yeah, and I want to thank the guests for coming. We enjoyed you guys. And thank everybody for taking a Saturday out to spend with us. And just so you know, we're having another meeting tomorrow. This was just an emergency meeting to talk about the chump change that we were given. And we have another meeting tomorrow at 1:30 if you guys want to join in again tomorrow. But other than that, thank you guys for participating in our meeting. We really appreciate you guys.
All right, guys. Have a good day. Have a good weekend.
Okay.
All right,
thanks,
take it
guys.
easy,
Have a good
everyone.
weekend.
Bye-bye.
All right,
Have a
guys.
good weekend.
Good luck, everybody.
All right.
Thank you again.
See
Bye,
you later.
Kathy.
So long.
Thanks, Dave, for coming out.
Welcome.
Bye, Tom. Cole, I didn't even know you were still here. You said nothing. Okay. Have a
Because he's
good
not
weekend.
there.
Oh, he left. Okay, Abel, thank you for coming
All
out
right,
too. We
all
really enjoyed you.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
You're doing good.
Tom, oh, thank you.
All right.
Tom, thank you for coming, sir.
No problem.
All right, have a good weekend.